What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Today is Monday, which means Boxing Ego Monday Mail Day. Now, I got a lot of questions today. I'm gonna jump right into it. I put a thumb up next to the question I will be answering, and I'll try to answer the questions you guys want. Oh, this is another one I meant to write. So, first question comes from Elias Kachkuch. Who do you think is the best of this era? Floyd Mayweather? Floyd or Manny? Floyd. Since Max said Manny is the best of this era because he moved up more weight classes than Floyd, I don't agree with that, because if that is the case, then Ali is not the greatest, because if I'm not mistaken, Ali did not move in weight. Please give proof and educate behind your answers. Love the videos and channel. Yeah, I was going to make a separate video, and by the time this is uploaded, maybe I will, probably not, but maybe. It just depends on how I'm feeling. But I was going to respond to that. Floyd's clearly the best of this era, and he has the bodies and the resume to prove it. He's beaten more world champions. He's still undefeated. He has a style that other styles, multiple styles. He's not just fighting one type of style. And like, he's fought guys with speed. I can list them for you. Guys with speed. Pacquiao, Zab Judah, right? Those are all guys with speed. DeMarcus Corley had solid speed. Guys like that. Shane Mosley. That's how Shane Mosley caught him in the second round. So guys with speed, guys with power. Canelo, Maidana, Ricky Hatton. Marquez has a high knockout percentage. You know what I mean? And he's a good counter puncher. So clearly the answer is Floyd to that. People could say what they want. Oh, you just love Floyd. It has nothing to do with love. You just hate Floyd. How about that? And I don't agree with Mac's statement. I thought that was ridiculous, the fact that he moved up. Because if that's the case, like you said, Muhammad Ali, he was a heavyweight. He came in the heavyweight and did what he did. That's like saying you can't say Muhammad Ali is a better heavyweight than Evander Holyfield, because Holyfield came up from cruiserweight to heavyweight. So because he made that jump, he's automatically better. You know what I mean? You can say Kovalev, not necessarily all time, but Kovalev, he's pretty much maintained his place at light heavyweight. So some would argue that Kovalev will beat Andre Ward. So shouldn't we be giving Andre Ward more credit because he came up from 168 and now he's coming to fight at light heavy? So I don't think the moving up has anything to do with the quality of the fighter. Obviously, Pacquiao did a feat no one else in this sport has done, which is move up 8 weight classes. One of them, and see, and this is the other thing, if you really want to be real, he fought Margarito for a vacant belt at a catchweight. So technically, he moved up past 147, technically, but he hasn't even fought at the full 154. Meanwhile, Floyd Mayweather has had a catchweight fight at 152, just like Pacquiao, against an undefeated Canelo Alvarez, who was a champion, and Floyd Mayweather beat him convincingly pretty much all rounds. And Pacquiao had a tough fight, and he ended up breaking Margarito's eye socket and orbital. Margarito had been stopped already by Shane Mosley, and Shane Mosley was the guy Floyd fought after that stoppage. So you see how this works? Not to mention, since we're talking about moving up in weight, Floyd has had fights with Oscar De La Hoya and Miguel Cotto, 2 definite Hall of Famers, at the full 154. Name the fight that Pacquiao, who is at 8 division, he's recognized as an 8 division world champion, and he ain't been back past 150 since the Margarito fight, and he has never even campaigned at the full junior middleweight division. So for that and a plethora of other reasons, I don't agree. I don't think merely moving up, you know what I mean? James Toney moved up, Roy Jones moved up, but why is Roy Jones, he went from, where was he at? Was he like 54 middleweight, moved all the way to light heavyweight? You know what I'm saying? So does that mean he's better than Bernard Hopkins, for example? You know what I mean? It's arguable. So it doesn't, I don't agree with that logic. I thought that was a piss poor attempt by Max Kellerman, who he's either hit or miss. I've interviewed Max Kellerman. He's a cool dude, but I just didn't understand the logic in that statement. So that's the best way to put it. Floyd is the best of this era. And the other thing is this: what is the point of Mayweather even fighting Pacquiao like the media pressured him to do? Like, everyone tries to take credit. Oh, Floyd only taking the fight because he has to. Then he fights him. Pacquiao only lands 71 punches, acts like a poor sport, and the rest is history. We've seen what happened in the fight. What was the point of him even fighting him if no matter what he did, even convincingly beating Pacquiao's still going to rank higher on the all-time best of this era list? That makes no sense. Why do we need to see the fight if no matter what he does, he's still going to rank behind Pacquiao? That's the dumbest logic. It's like the Super Bowl. If you have the 49ers, San Francisco 49ers, and you have the New Orleans Saints, and they play in the Super Bowl, the goal is to establish a winner. And let's say the Saints win. I can't say, oh, because I'm the league, I'm the NFL, and I'm from the Bay Area, I wanted the 49ers to win, so they're the Super Bowl champions. They're the ones that get the hats, they get the confetti, they get the ring. Even though they lost the game, they get the Super Bowl rings and the trophies and their name etched in history because I want the 49ers to win because I'm from the Bay Area. It doesn't work like that. The Super Bowl is there, the top 2 teams compete, and the winner is the Super Bowl champions, not who you wanted to win became the champion. There's no point to have this high level type of competition if no matter what, the person that wins won't get the credit, period. Next question is from Jesse Kirkland. Who do you think Ward's fights next? Who would match up good and prepare him for Kovalev matchup? What do you think about Alvarez or Brahimir? And same for Kovalev. I think Beterbiev makes sense. What do you think, Ego? Buy the respect and watch all videos. Keep growing the sport by what you do. It's a little bit of typos, but I think I get what you're saying. Me personally, fights that I think would be good preparation. Beterbiev, I don't know if it's happening because one's with Rock Nation, Ward's with Rock Nation, and I don't know if Rock Nation is going to work with Al Heyman. I haven't really seen the inner working together, so that would be a good fight to prepare him. Undefeated guy, strong guy, a guy who beat Kovalev in the amateurs. And I did it. There's a roundtable with Kovalev, and I uploaded the video where he talks about the amateur loss. He said it was a robbery. That's from Kovalev. But either way, that's a good name to prepare him if that fight can get done. There's a ton of guys that he could fight. Unisquiv Gonzalez, I think, would be a good fight that'll help prepare him for that. Another tricky Cuban, respectable power. I thought he beat Jean Pascal. Or even the guy that beat Unisquiv Gonzalez. I don't know how to, Sabransky. I don't know how to pronounce his name properly. That guy. Andres Fonfara would be another person. Adonis Stevenson, but I don't think that's likely. And maybe even a Chavez Jr. I don't really know. And I think that's more of a business thing, just to see. I think that would do well just because it's Ward versus Chavez. Ward called out Chavez a couple years ago. I don't know. Based on Chavez's weight and discipline issues, I don't know how well that will prepare him for Kovalev, but possibly it could get made if the money's right and the weight's right. But those are all fights that I think are realistic to help prepare for the mega fight we all want to see, which is Ward Kovalev. Next question is from Gold. HBO commentary was a disgrace. Ego Veli, please. And what's next for Bradley? Yeah, you probably are going to see a lot more of Ego Veli in the new media because it's about to be the takeover. The break's over. You'll probably see some more Ego Veli. I have one on the channel that I'm going to upload by the time this is up. You'll see that, and it's ranking, or it's responding to the rankings from ESPN top 25, where they had guys like Roman Gonzalez before Miguel Cotto, before Winky Wright, before Prince Nassim Hamed. Just egregious. So you'll see a lot more of Ego Veli as long as there's media coverage that is promoting this stuff. And what's next for Bradley? Now, Bradley just take time off with his family and jump back into the swing of things. And I'm going to save it for, since you already asked another question, and I seen one of the questions I thumbed up was another Bradley question. Stay tuned for this show, and I'll go more into what I think happens for Timothy Bradley in the next upcoming future. Next question, J386. Do you think Mikey will sign with TMT, or is it too early to tell? I really think he will sign with TMT or Al Heyman. I think that's a good look. I think he's kind of been scouting and trying to determine what he wants to do, and it would be a good look. And it looked like he was dropping subtle hints by being in front of the Mayweather gym. I talked about that, posted the picture in the video I did where I was talking about how he got released from Top Rank, which is what he wanted. So I think he would probably go to the Al Heyman side. Robert Garcia has some interviews, his brother, on the internet. You guys can search it on YouTube. And he was saying that PBC always takes care of him and his entourage, and they're real cool. So I'm sure he spread those his experiences with his brother. He was probably with him, for all I know, going to some of the fights. So they get to see how the Premier Boxing Champ Series looks, the lights, the ring, the setup of it. So they can probably determine from those experiences if that's the right move for Mikey. But That's what I would say. There's a lot of options. You got Broner over there, Danny Garcia, a lot of different options for him. Omar Figueroa for like tune-up style fights. There's a lot of options for him at 140, 147 if that's where he's going to campaign. Next question is from Kayev 2002 Kayev. Do you think Bradley will now give Vargas the rematch he wanted? It's not a bad idea. He's coming off a loss. Vargas is coming off a win, and he's a champion. So that'll throw Bradley right back into a title picture, because Bradley, at this point, he already has a resume. You know what I mean? Anyone who's been in the ring with Pacquiao 3 times, your resume is pretty much solid. Guys like Eric Morales also fought Pacquiao 3 times. Established resume, because the experience in fighting Pacquiao alone, let alone 3 times, is credible, right? So Bradley clearly has a resume. Nate Campbell, Lamont Peterson. He's been in the ring with Diego Chavez. He's been in the ring with some of the best fighters in the world, right? And he doesn't really need like the resume building per se. He doesn't need a backtrack. He doesn't need fights that are going to be a backtrack where he needs to fight Luis Carlos Abregu coming off of a loss again or something. You know what I mean? He doesn't need to fight those types of fights. He should fight big fights, championship level fights, and just decent competition. Overall, guys with names and stuff like that. So the Vargas rematch, Vargas has a title now after knocking out Saddam Ali. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Next question is from Chris Jackson. Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder. Who would you give the edge to? Wow. At this current point, when this video is being made, I would give an edge to Deontay Wilder. If Anthony Joshua continues on this path, then as he gets more experience, if he stays on the winning side, then I think it would change to probably Anthony Joshua. And that's simply because he just had his 16th fight, if I'm not mistaken, all 16 KOs. He hasn't fought someone like Deontay Wilder as of yet. Wilder has cracks. Wilder's power is the real deal, just like Joshua's. They both have crazy, nasty power, but Wilder is 6'7", and he's been in there and fine-tuned his game a little bit more at the pro level than Anthony Joshua. And some people are going to get mad and disagree, but I just interviewed Eddie Hearn last year, and I'll try to insert the clip. And actually, here's the clip. Oh, speaking of Anthony Joshua, he's looking like a wrecking ball. He just destroyed Kevin Johnson. Rumor is Dillian White is an option. Is that something you guys are looking at? They have the amateur grudge?
Yeah, we were trying to make the Dillian White fight for September, but Dillian's got a small injury to his hand, and his trainer got hit in a hit and run, so he's got some things going on. We're now looking at November, December for that fight. Anthony Joshua, you're going to know a lot about him over here in the States soon. In my opinion, he's the most exciting heavyweight prospect, in over a decade. He's 13 fights, 13 KOs, just KO'd Kevin Johnson for the first time in the second round, destroyed him, and now he needs to step up. I like fights like Marius Wack. I like fights like, even Brian Jennings. I'll take that fight in a heartbeat for Anthony Joshua next. Tony Thompson, Steve Cunningham. He's ready for those guys now. He's ranked number 2 in the WBC, which is quite generous, but they see the potential, obviously. He's ranked top 15 in all the governing bodies, I think 6 in the WBO, and he's going to be the future heavyweight champion of the world. Many say he beats Deontay Wilder now. I think they're right, but it's not the right time. He's still learning, but probably Wilder's got one voluntary and then a mandatory against Povetkin. If he gets through that, it won't be long till Anthony Joshua is the next mandatory for Deontay Wilder, and by then it's going to be a great fight. But I like Deontay Wilder. I think he's great for boxing. I think he's a very talented heavyweight. A lot of people are saying Anthony Joshua could beat Wilder now, and they might be right, but it's not the right time. Now, I give Wilder a lot of credit. He's a great fighter, but in time, Deontay Wilder against Anthony Joshua could be huge.
Eddie Hearn said it himself, and this was just last year, obviously before he became a champion, because he just became a champion yesterday by beating Charles Martin. But Eddie Hearn says Deontay Wilder is a fight we'd like to build up to. Some people think he can beat him now, but I want to build him up, because Eddie Hearn's a promoter. He knows what he has with Anthony Joshua. And the worst thing, I'm trying to tell people about this, you do not want to rush your fighter. Even the Charles Martin fight was dangerous because Joshua was his first title shot, and Joshua was the challenger against the champion. And no one knew it would be that easy as it looked for Joshua. So that was even a gamble. But you don't want to keep taking too many gambles before your fighter's ready. You know what I mean? Throwing him in with the Deontay Wilder. I know some people hate Wilder and they're like, oh, chicken leg Wilder. Watch the Wilder-Povetkin fight. I'm favoring Wilder in that fight too. You know what I mean? He has more experience. Experience plays a crucial part in a fighter's path, because Wilder, if you've seen, he's cleaned up his game a little bit. When he was fighting Audley Harrison, it doesn't look like the fighter that just fought in like Johan Duhaupas. You know what I'm saying? He was like super wild. And I still see shades of that where he's kind of wild or whatever, but he's worked on it. Definitely in the Bermane Stiverne, that's probably one of his most complete performances against a good name, was stopping power in Bermane Stiverne. So I think he's just a little bit farther along on his career at this point. Plus he's bigger. Plus, you know what? I don't even know what Charles Martin's power. Charles Martin was kind of untested too. You know what I mean? I'm not taking away credit because what Joshua did was great and I loved it. You can check my post fight. I was happy for Joshua, for AJ. But I mean, Charles Martin, who's more untested, Deontay Wilder or Charles Martin? You know what I'm saying? Not to mention Anthony Joshua and Charles Martin about the same size. He's clearly going to be at a height deficit versus Wilder. Wilder is like every bit of 6'7". You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. And some people clown Wilder and hate, oh, chicken legs and all this stuff. But you got to look at it. Two of his opponents that people said were cherry picks, after losing to Wilder by stoppage, went on to kind of resurrect their careers. You look at Johan Duhaupas, he was real tough. He was taking nasty shots by Deontay Wilder, and he was still game before he got stopped late. And he just knocked out an undefeated heavyweight in Helenas. Then you look at Eric Molina. Eric Molina had knockout power, which is what I told people when everyone was saying it was a cherry pick. It was Wilder's first title defense, and he even rocked Wilder, just like he rocked Chris Arreola. Some of you guys don't know your boxing, so you probably never seen Eric Molina versus Chris Arreola. So, I mean, clearly the guy has power. People don't know that. And he just knocked out Thomas Adamek, who's been in there with Chad Dawson, who's been in there with Klitschko. Adamek is some solid names. Steve Cunningham, Glaskov. Adamek's been in there with some real people. And he got knocked the hell out by Eric Molina. And those are past guys that Wilder stopped. Not to mention the Spilkas, the Bermane Stivernes, an Olympian like Audley Harrison. So at this point, what I'm saying is Wilder is just more advanced as a pro. And I think that would, if the fight were to happen tomorrow, that would give him the edge, because Wilder see, look at how Al Heyman's building up his fighters. He's allowing them to gain confidence. You know what I mean? He's gaining confidence. He beat Bermane Stiverne, which was his tough test. And then he had 2 hometown fights, if I'm not mistaken, against Eric Molina and then Johan Duhaupas, who were tough guys. One had a great chin in Duhaupas. The other guy had some nasty power himself, Eric Molina. He beat them. Then he fought, who did he fight next? Probably Artur Spilka. Now he's going to fight Povetkin. You know what I mean? So he's that's how you're supposed to do it. Tough fight with Bermane Stiverne. You're stepping in as a challenger, going against a champion. Then you take some dangerous fights, but not quite as dangerous as Bermane Stiverne. Keep your confidence high, and guys who are going to challenge you to figure new ways to get it done. Because in the Eric Molina fight, he got rocked pretty bad. You know what I mean? In one of those rounds, I don't remember, he got rocked pretty bad. That's experience. He needs those experiences. Now, if they would have just made a Klitschko fight next, you know what I mean? Maybe he wouldn't be able to recover, because Klitschko has a lot of experience. Maybe Wilder would have got finished by Klitschko had Klitschko got him hurt, hypothetically. So I don't think you should rush AJ, and at the moment I would pick Deontay Wilder. Hopefully that explains it. Next question is from Julio C. Please give us your ego thoughts on Anthony Joshua. Is he real deal Mike Tyson power reincarnated? Can he beat Deontay Wilder? Now, I just answered the Wilder question, or portion of your question. I like AJ. I've told people for a while, check my channel on my Instagram. Follow me at BoxingEgo on Instagram, Twitter. I'm on Facebook. I'm everywhere. And I think they shouldn't rush him. I think he just took a tall order by stepping in as a challenger facing the champion. Fight some middle of the road tough guys that can keep giving you that pro level experience. So I wouldn't rush for the Wilder fight, because again, at this point I would pick Wilder to beat him. It's a taller guy with massive power himself and more pro level experience. So I think there's names out there, like let's say Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz, a guy like that. You know what I mean? Someone like that would be good for him. or the guys, maybe Johan Duhaupas, or one of the guys that I just talked about that resurrected their career, Eric Molina. Take the Wilder path. Fight Eric Molina now since he's off of a knockout win over Thomas Adamek, or fight Johan Duhaupas. Those are the types of fights he needs as well. Just like I gave Deontay Wilder a pass, or whatever you want to call it, to build himself as a champion. That's what Joshua should do. He shouldn't rush into the Wilder fight, but his power is obviously the real deal. I mean, you could tell by the body language and how people are falling and reacting to it. Charles Martin got clipped partially in the first round, and he looked bewildered. Next question is Roberto Espinoza Torres, ESPN's top 25 from the past 25 years list. I made a separate video about this because I seen your question, and like this Gio Santiago says, garbage list. The list is terrible. I mean, it's just egregious. Make sure you guys check my Ego Valley video out on this, but the way you put Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez ahead of a Miguel Cotto is blasphemous. How can Chocolatito, top 25 pound for pound for the last 25 years, how on earth can Chocolatito get that honor above Miguel Cotto, Prince Nassim, Winky Wright, even Gennady Golovkin? I think Golovkin has done more per division than Chocolatito. I'm not talking about skill set or potential, because you can't rank somebody based on potential, because there's a lot of guys that had potential. Antoine Douglas, they were saying, oh, you got to watch out for this middleweight. He just got stopped. Amir Imam, oh, you got to watch out for him. And then he just got stopped. Adrian Broner, he's the next pay-per-view star. Maidana thrashed him. Oh, Canelo, he's not going to lose for some time. And then he lost, in my opinion, to Lara, and he definitely lost to Mayweather. So you can't rank somebody on potential. So it's egregious to put Chocolatito, a fighter I like and I've told people about, before Miguel Cotto. Cotto's been in there with Paulie Malignaggi, Randall Bailey, wins over guys like Zab Judah. He has wins over Josh Clottey in his prime, before Pacquiao. Wins over Shane Mosley. Sergio Martinez stepped in the ring with Pacquiao, wins over Margarito and the loss to Margarito. He stepped in the ring with Floyd Mayweather and gave him one of his toughest fights to date. And you're going to put him behind Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez? Get out of here. ESPN, get out of here. Oh, if you want to be down with ESPN too, get out of here. Man, this list is crazy. You put Terry Norris behind Golovkin. Check out the Ego Valley video. I'm done. That's all I got to say. I'm getting mad again just looking at that list. Next question is from Luis Vargas. Did Manny look the best in his third fight with Bradley, or is his age catching up to him? Yeah, I would say probably the best in the third fight, because the first fight I thought he looked lethargic. I don't think he was in great shape. And when I mean, some people, what do you mean he was in Pacquiao? I'm talking about comparison to other Pacquiao fights, because I can only compare Pacquiao. I'm not comparing him to what Roy Jones Jr. looked like at his weigh-ins. I'm comparing him to past Pacquiao fights. He didn't look like vintage Pacquiao shape, like shredded. He looked like he was in good shape in the second and third fight. And he was fighting in real spots, in flurries in the first fight, and he was letting Bradley outwork him. But this fight, I think he made the switch earlier than he did in the second fight, because I had him losing the first 5 or 6 rounds in the second fight. And then he made the adjustments and then clearly beat Bradley. But he was losing the first half of the second fight. But this one, he made the switch early. About the third, fourth round, he started becoming more offensive. He knocked Bradley down twice. So, I mean, he didn't do that in the past fight. So, yeah, this is his best performance because he got 2 knockdowns. And I think he made the adjustments earlier. And he battled some adversity in the round 8 where he was hurt. And then he came back strong and had a good ninth round. So, yeah. Is age catching up to him? Yeah, I think Pacquiao's style, he still has speed, he has power, he has experience, so not anyone's going to get in there and just beat him. But the fact that he's been in there with guys like Miguel Cotto, De La Hoya, and Margarito, guys that Ricky Hatton even, guys who were bigger and stronger, or just stronger than Bradley, and they couldn't hurt him, and Bradley hurt him, looked like pretty bad from what I've seen in round 8. That's a sign that it's a guy who's probably been through a lot of wars, because it's starting to catch up to him. His speed is still there and stuff, but I don't know. Mentally, maybe he's not there in terms of, I don't know. He looked a bit older to me. That's just my opinion. But he looked sharp and he got the job done. Next question is from Mark James. What up, Ego? Is it just me, or did it seem like the HBO commentary was really trying to drill this shoulder injury into the mind of the public? No. it wasn't just you, because in my post-fight video, make sure you guys check that out. That's exactly what I said also, because they were like asking Freddie Roach in between the rounds, hey, did Pacquiao complain about his shoulder? Freddie Roach says no, he didn't. He never said anything was wrong with his shoulder. They asked Manny Pacquiao post-fight, hey, were you having something wrong with your shoulder? And Pacquiao was like, no, I didn't have anything wrong with my shoulder. It wasn't bothering me, right? But they didn't ask him, why? What about when you got rocked and you had to clinch in round 8 to see what he had to say? So they're not going to ask the real question to Pacquiao, like something people would be curious about. Instead, they're going to push this storyline about his shoulder that both his trainer and himself said was never an issue in this particular fight. But I guess they're trying to give him rope or lend credence to the story that I don't believe about him losing to Floyd because he had one shoulder. I don't think that was the issue. So it sounded like HBO was trying to keep pushing that narrative. Oh, yeah, his shoulder's re-bothering him, just to keep it in the public's mind. Like, hey, he's coming off of a shoulder surgery. He's coming off of a fight that he lost because of his shoulder. That's what it seemed like HBO was trying to do. Next question is from Brian Olia. Yo, Ego, what do you think of Pacquiao retiring? I think it's sad. I hate seeing, like, Sergio Matavia is one of my favorites. When Sergio Martinez retired, it's sad to see fighters retire, because you watch, or me, I've watched their whole careers, and it sucks because you remember like the good times and like the fights, and they've entertained me. But the good thing for Pacquiao is, if this is his last fight indeed, he's not going out like most fighters go out, because he's going out by setting the record straight in a third fight and knocking down Bradley twice, which he didn't do in the previous 2 fights. So that's kind of a good way to go out, versus the person I just said, Sergio Matavia. He's going out off of getting rocked really bad in the 12th round versus Chavez Jr., then fighting Martin Murray at home, and I thought he lost that fight, and they robbed Martin Murray, and he got knocked down twice, if I'm not mistaken, in that particular fight. And then he fought Miguel Cotto and lost his middleweight titles and got knocked down and got hurt and stopped. And then that was the end of his career. And we're talking about a guy who knocked out Paul Williams cold, who just toyed with Kelly Pavlik. You know what I'm saying? So if this truly is it for Pacquiao, he's going out on better terms than guys like Matavia, who they started to look different, and like the game kind of took him out. If he beat Cotto, I don't think Sergio Martinez would have retired. But how he looked and how his knee gave out and all that, it was just too much. Think he'd probably be better staying a boxer if he vote in the Philippines is slipping, huh? Yeah, I mean, if he's not going to get a seat in the politics based on his performance, he looked pretty sharp. So why not keep fighting? You know what I mean? Get a couple. He got $20 million to fight Timothy Bradley from what is reported. So why not keep getting some money if you're not going to have a spot in the house? Next question is from Ahmad Ali. Who will be the top welterweight now that Manny and Floyd are gone? I would say Errol Spence Jr., especially if he gets it done next week versus Chris Algieri. That's a telling fight. Chris Algieri has experience with the guy I just mentioned, Pacquiao, Ruslan Provodnikov, especially if he stops Chris Algieri. Those are 2 guys I just named with power. You've seen Pacquiao's power knock people down. He knocked Chris Algieri down 6 times. He knocked Bradley down twice, right? He buzzed Floyd Mayweather in the 4th round, I believe. And Chris Algieri weathered that. He weathered the 6 knockdowns, didn't get stopped. Ruslan had him badly hurt when they're both fresh in the first round or 2. I think it was round 1. And he weathered that, right? He fought Amir Khan. And none of those guys, none of those high-profile names stopped him. So if Errol Spence Jr. can do it, then that's impressive. So I think he'll be a top welterweight. I also like Kell Brook. I just think he needs to get back on the horse of fighting better names. You already fought the BZAs and the Boziers and Coziers and all them people, Jojo Dans and Casey and Jojo. You already fought all them. All my life, I pray for someone. I just thought of some Casey and Jojo. But you've already fought those level of competition. So he just needs to get back to elite names. But skill set wise, power, and what he brings to the table, I think he's a force too. Kell Brook. And even the Thurman Porter winner, whoever wins that fight, those are the top welterweights from what I can see with the retirement of Pacquiao and Mayweather. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.